Dr. Dwayne Wood. That's Wood with an E, and the E stands for endocrinology. And I'm so excited today that we are here. Hopefully you had a good weekend and had a great Monday. We're always glad when you are here. If you're new to the channel, then go ahead and put new in the comments because we would love to welcome you. Also, if you have questions, go ahead and put those in the comments as well with a Q in front of the question, because that way I can know that that's a question that we need to get to and that we need to answer. All right. And here on this channel, I help to educate, to encourage, and to empower you to take charge of your health, avoid complications, and live a healthy, fulfilling life. Tonight, we are talking about one of those topics, sleep. We're talking about sleep and why sleep matters. And in case you did not see the little trailer that came across or the little slide, here it is. There you go. All right, so let's see who we have out there waiting. Let's see. I see Maria, and Maria has been letting you guys know that we were having some technical difficulties, so I'm glad that she's there. So Maria's saying good evening to everyone. Hey Maria, how you doing? Dr. Wood will be on in a moment. Woo! There you are. And then our topic tonight is very exciting. Please prepare your questions about sleeping. Don't forget to put the Q. So thank you for reminding everyone there, Maria. Yay. And then Kenyatta. Hey, Kenyatta, how you doing? Hey, Dr. Wood. I can't wait to hear this information about sleep. And Maria just hello, Kenyatta. Good evening. And then Marlene says, I'm glad to be here. So, hey, Marlene, welcome. Glad that you are here as well. And then two of my favorite ladies, Ashley and Miss Ella, how are you doing? Glad that you are here. So we're talking about sleep tonight. We're talking about sleep. And so if I could get you something, right? If I can get you a pill, if I can get you a supplement, if I can get you some procedure that you could take and or do that could improve your memory, that could improve your focus, your response time, that can help you feel better, right? That can give you a boost to your ego, not your ego, but your self-esteem, right? How much would you pay? Would you take it? Would you want that? Well, hang on, because we're going to talk about something tonight that is going to fascinate you, right? Because we're talking about sleep. So, and let's see, once again, so just looking at the chat, and I see Maria saying hello again. And so we're happy to see you here. So you guys probably did not hear all of the music at the beginning. Once again, we are powered by Epidemic Sound. Epidemic Sound, glad to have them here. This is not sponsored, but I just like them. They give us good music, or they have good music. And tonight, guys, let me move this aside. I am sporting my Alabama A&M t-shirt. That's right, Bulldogs, right? So I'm sporting my Alabama A&M t-shirt. Let me move this mic. So you could see that. So that's Alabama A&M, which is here in town. And just a shout out to you guys. And when I was over there, let's see, Deja helped me. That was on Friday. So Deja, if you're out there, if you're listening, thank you. And Deja's boss, she did an awesome job in helping me. As a matter of fact, this one was not yet out on the racks. And so she went and she talked to someone in the back, and they got this for me. So thank you, Deja, and go Bulldogs, Alabama A&M. We are proud of you guys, proud of the work that you are doing, and just glad to be here in Huntsville, where you guys are located. So let's talk a little bit about sleep. Let's get into it. So the American Sleep Academy has recommended that people get 7 or more hours of sleep. And that's with some caveats. You know, of course, there are people who who may not be able to get that much sleep. There are people who seem to think that they can function on less sleep, but the recommendation is 7 or more hours. And sleep is a very interesting thing, because over the years, it has been one of those things that has eluded us. Right. So what happens when you sleep? And you guys have seen movies, right, where people, they go to sleep and they move to a different reality. They go to sleep and they move to a different planet. They go to sleep and their consciousness comes out of their body, and all kinds of things have been kind of put onto sleep, and all kinds of ideas over the years have come about what sleep actually is. So we're going to talk about what happens when we sleep here in a little bit. But everybody sleeps. And everybody sleeps at different intervals. Everyone sleeps different amounts. But once again, the recommendation is 7 or more hours. Okay. Of course, as we age, then the amount of sleep that we get decreases. When we're younger, the amount of sleep that we need actually is much higher, right? Because we say that as children are growing, and right, if you have children or being around kids, that babies sleep for long periods of time, and what they wake up for, right? To eat and poop. Those are the two things. Other than that, they're sleeping, right? Because they are growing, their bodies are changing. And so sleep is giving them energy, right? So that they can do all those things. But without those two and other areas where people are having sleep issues, then 7 hours is where we want to be. Okay. So to have this conversation about sleep, I want to first kind of back up a little bit, and let's talk about what actually is going on when we are planning to sleep, when we're going to sleep, when we're sleeping. All right. So there's this thing called the circadian rhythm. And the circadian rhythm is the rhythm of your body. It typically is 24 hours. Okay. So that your body goes through a series of changes over those 24 hours. And the body adjusts to the environment based on a few things. All right. One of them is light. And so light lets the body know that it is either time to be awake or time to sleep. And the hypothalamus, and you guys remember we talked about the hypothalamus when we talked about the pituitary, sits right above the pituitary. So the hypothalamus, there are special cells that are in the hypothalamus that can sense light, okay? And it sends a signal through something called the thalamus, which is kind of a relay. And in combination with the eyes, the hypothalamus and this gland called the pineal gland, they are the things that are responsible for helping us to sleep. Of course, the hypothalamus is the regulator, and the pineal gland makes this hormone that everybody's probably heard about, and it's called what? Melatonin, right? So this hormone called melatonin, which helps us to sleep. And melatonin really is kind of the signal, right, that says, okay, it's sleep time. And all of that is dictated and is regulated really by light. Okay. So that's why if you're working a shift, right, and the night shift, what do the lights look like? Oh yeah, they're like beaming down on you, right? Because they want to make sure that you don't drift off to sleep. And if the lights weren't there, then you probably would do that. So the circadian rhythm is there. The hypothalamus is sensing light and is regulating everything. The pineal gland gets light directly from the eyes and it releases melatonin. And there's some other parts of the brain, the amygdala, right? The basal frontal part of the brain, which helps to send signals to the cortex. So let's talk about what these do. The hypothalamus, as it sends signals out, it helps the body to relax. So it tells the muscles, hey, you guys can calm down now, right? And that's what helps us where the muscles are not moving, so that when you have a dream, right, you don't act the dream out. Now, there are cases, special cases of that, but that's in general, right? So the hypothalamus is regulating everything, so it's controlling everybody. The pineal gland gets the signal from the eyes that it's dark, and it goes ahead and releases melatonin. And then the amygdala, which is responsible for kind of emotions, is sending signals along with other parts of the brain to the cortex. What does that sound like, right? So they're sending pictures and smells and sounds. That sounds like a dream, right? And so all these things are in combination working to help us sleep. So sleep is not simply you lay down and you fall away, right? Sleep is a complex interplay, a symphony, if you will, of different parts of the brain and hormones, right? Hey, hormones, endocrinology, hormones that are coming together to try to get us to the place where we sleep. And then, we've talked about the different stages of sleep, 1, 2, 3, different stages, and then REM sleep, you've heard that as well. And so each of these stages is responsible for a different thing while we sleep. And our bodies through sleep goes in and out, right, between those stages. So we don't stay in one stage all the time. We go in and out between the stages, right? And that's called sleep architecture as we move from one stage to the other. Okay, that is what's needed for us to have a good, restful, restorative sleep. What's that? Restful, restorative sleep. Restorative sleep. So I love that. So that's how sleep works. And you can see, right, because there's this interplay, there can be places where sleep can be disturbed. Right? If any of those signals, any of those things don't work the way they're supposed to, then our sleep can be disturbed. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that can disturb sleep. Why is sleep important? So they did these experiments, lots of different experiments. We're going to talk about just a couple of them. The first one is an experiment where they got some volunteers, they brought them in, right? And they started allowing them to do tests, lots of different tests called PVTs is the functional name for that. And these tests are supposed to evaluate alertness, motor function, problem solving, memory, and all these different things, right? So they brought these people in and they allowed them, or they divided them into different groups. So there's one group that got no sleep. So for 3 days, they stayed up for 3 days. Then there's a group that got 4 hours of sleep. Then a group that got 6 hours of sleep. And then groups that got more hours of sleep. Okay. And then, so they're giving them all these tests. And so they started evaluating these folks. And let's talk, first of all, about alertness, right? How alert someone is. And so as the amount of sleep lessened, right? The average person started to lose alertness, coordination, right? So they got more forgetful. And what was interesting was, number one, the people, as they got less and less sleep, at a certain point, right? So the people who stayed up all, for 3 days, they could tell you, hey, I'm just not feeling good. I'm tired, right? I don't think I could read that right there. I don't think I could remember that, right? So they were aware of what was going on, and they were aware of their alertness and their body functions. But the interesting group was the group that was 6 hours, right? Because that group thought they were just as functional, thought they were just as alert, and thought they had the exact same memory. So they could not tell any difference. But when they tested them, these people, right, 6 hours, remember? These people were just as deficient as people who got less sleep, but they couldn't tell. And so they made more mistakes. Now, why is the 6 hour an important one, right? Because most people, if you kind of go around and ask a question, most people will tell you that they get about 6 hours of sleep, Okay, yeah, I get about 5 hours. I get 6 hours, right? So there are people who will say, yeah, I get my 10 hours. Yeah, I get my 8 hours. Yeah, I get my 7 hours. But 6 is the most common that you will see. So that means that most of us, how many of us? Yes, right. Most of us are walking around just like those folks, and we're not really aware of how deficient we are in terms of alertness. We're not aware of how we are problem solving. We're not aware of our memory. Okay. And one of the other things that they did was they said, hey, how can we correlate this with what is one of those substances? Yeah, alcohol. How can we correlate that with alcohol? And so they started looking at people and saying, well, how much alcohol does someone have to drink to be impaired, right? And so when they looked at it, if a person had 24 hours, right, 24 hours without sleep, then their alcohol level was, or they functioned alert in the terms of alertness as a person who had an blood alcohol level of 0.1. Yeah, 0.1, right? If they got 21 hours, they had they function at an alcohol level of 0.08. Now, 0.08 is what? Yeah, that's the legal limit, right? So when you're there, you're like, hey, you shouldn't be driving. So what they found was that people who had 21 hours of sleep, 21 hours of sleeplessness, then their functioning was just as impaired in terms of their alertness as someone whose blood alcohol level was the legal limit. Wow, that's amazing, right? That's amazing to me. And so this is where we are. This is where people are kind of surfing, right? Private surfing. And so what we see is that as people get less and less sleep, then their alertness goes down, their memory goes down, their functional ability goes down, they have more accidents on the job. And then let's talk about some of the more interesting parts of this, right? So let's talk about, we're in the pandemic, okay? We're in the pandemic. And everybody's concerned about their immunity. They're concerned about getting infection and all those types of things. And when they did studies, what they found was, not with COVID, right? Not COVID. What they found was that people, as their amount of sleep, their sleep deficit, right? And the sleep deficit is the amount of sleep that you are missing, right? It's kind of like in your bank account, right? If you have $100, and then you go in and you take out $100 and you have one of those overdraft things, and then you go out and you take out $10 more. Now you've taken out 110, but you only had 100. So you have a deficit of $10, right? So people who have a sleep debt are people who are losing sleep. So they're supposed to get 7 hours, for example, and last night they got 6, so they are missing 1. Tonight they got 5, so they're missing 2 more, so that's 3. So the amount of hours sleep deficit is what that is. Okay. So as we get more and more sleep deficit, then we start to have more and more problems. And so back to the infection. Right. So people who have, as their sleep deficit improves or increases, then they tend to be more susceptible to viruses. That's right. That's the word virus, right? More susceptible to viruses. They tend to be more susceptible to getting sick, right? They catch more things. They're also more susceptible to injury, right? So they're not as careful. So why? They take more risky behaviors, right? So all those things come with sleep. Now, here's a big one. And we did a show, if you have not already done so, go back and look at the show that we did on testosterone and sleep, right? So when did we say testosterone is surging and being produced? Well, yeah, it is being produced while we're sleeping. And so that sleep architecture helps to kind of get us through, right? And so it gets us that testosterone. Another thing that people are concerned about is their weight. Well, I'm coming back to that one here in just a minute. Let's see who's joined us since I've been talking. So I see Maria's still out there, and Marlene, she said, "Go Bulldogs!" That's right, that's right, Marlene. And Marsha Simmons, everybody already know how important sleep is. I love that. I love that. I'm gonna do that one because we're gonna come back to that one in a minute. And then Maria's just welcome and say, hey, Marsha. All right, this is a good place for us to do a quick station break. And let's pop this up. If you've not already done so, guys, let's catch us on all of our social media platforms, on LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter, of course, here on our channel, and then buy me a coffee. If you'd like to see more of our exciting content, then of course our lives every Monday, our Twitter, and which comes out every day, and our TikTok, which comes out on Friday mornings, right? So make sure that you get that. If you are here, go ahead and put a like, right? Hit that button. Send this to someone who may be out there who's not with you right now. Very important topic that we're talking about. I think it's a beautiful one. Okay. So let's talk about obesity. Let's talk about metabolism. Let's talk about blood pressure. Let's talk about, dare I say it, diabetes. Okay. So a couple of things that happens during sleep. When our sleep architecture is broken, when our sleep is disturbed. One of the things that happens is there are two hormones that help to regulate whether we're full in terms of hungry, in terms of satiety, and if we're hungry. So leptin and ghrelin. Ghrelin, growling of the stomach, right? So ghrelin is the one that tells me I'm hungry, and leptin is the one that tells me that I'm full. And what happens when we don't get good sleep, when our sleep is broken, when our sleep is fragmented, our ghrelin, that's right, the hunger one, goes up. And the one that says we're not hungry, the leptin, goes down, right? That's not what we want. we want them in the opposite direction. But what happens is ghrelin is up, leptin is down. So that makes us hungry. Okay. So sometimes people think, oh, yeah, I'm up and so I am hungry, but no, you're not hungry. It's just that your hormones have been dysregulated. All right. During that time, insulin goes up, right? Because that's disturbed as well. Insulin also makes you hungry, and insulin is a growth factor, right? It's a hormone. It's a growth factor. So we're eating more. Our insulin levels are higher. So what does that predispose us to? Putting on weight, right? Metabolism, right? So being disturbed in our sleep has the effect of making us more susceptible to insulin resistance, right? Precursor to diabetes, obesity, precursor to diabetes, heart disease, and high blood pressure, right? And more susceptible, listen to this one. So the things that we crave when we're tired, when our sleep is disturbed, are not those healthy things that we ate when we were not tired, right? So earlier in the day, when you ate that broccoli and you ate that salad and you ate all those healthy things, well, guess what? If you go long enough when you're not tired, that's not what you want anymore. You want the high carbs, right? You want because remember, carbs are energy, right? You want those energy. You want more simple sugars, more refined sugars. So those are the things that you crave. I've never had anybody say to me, you know what, Dr. Wood, I woke up last night and I was just craving some broccoli. No, I've never heard that. But they sure would tell me, yeah, I was craving, I was fiending for some ice cream or some pizza or some pasta, right? In fact, I've had people say to me that they left their house to go to the store in the middle of the night to get pasta or pizza or donuts, right? But nobody's ever left their house to get broccoli. I'll tell you that. At least I've not heard it. If you know somebody who left their house to get broccoli, go ahead and put that in the comments. I'd love to know who they were. Okay. So those things, they predispose us to all, what I'm describing, right, is that kind of metabolic milieu, metabolic syndrome, right? which also includes hypertension. So when we don't sleep well, because what's supposed to happen when we sleep? Then our blood pressure goes down. Our vessels are supposed to dilate, right? They're not supposed to constrict that much. But because we're not sleeping, they're there, right? So our blood pressure goes up. And there's been studies that show that the plaques in our arteries also become thicker when we don't sleep well. And so what does that predispose us to? That's right. It predisposes us to hypertension, strokes, coronary artery disease, and ultimately can predispose us to death, right? Because remember, all of those vessels are now at risk. And we can get things that are affecting the heart. We can get, once the heart is affected, then other things can be affected as well, okay? So diabetes is so important. So we've seen, right, that it affects our alertness. It can cause problems for coordination, more accidents, more injuries. It can affect our immune system. It can affect our metabolic makeup and makes us predisposed to other disease processes. We already talked about testosterone, right? So it can cause sexual problems, sex drive, not impotence, but decreased sexual function, right? Because testosterone. The other thing that it can do is it can affect our mood. You remember that amygdala that I talked about, right, earlier, that has the emotions? Well, what they've found is that if the sleep architecture is fragmented, if it's broken, if we're fatigued, if we're tired, then those emotions that usually are manageable by different parts of the brain, the frontal part of the brain, then we're less able to control those. So we become more emotional. We can become more depressed. We can have more anxiety. All right. And remember those particular things, right? Depression, anxiety, more emotional. What do those all have? Well, not all of them. What do they have in common? A lot of them. Cortisol. Okay. So cortisol is a stress hormone. So here we are. So we're more anxious, more depressed because we're tired, we're fatigued, we're eating more. Our desire for other fatty foods, right? Sweet foods, high carb food goes up because ghrelin is up, leptin is down, right? We're moody. We're more prone to accidents. We're more forgetful. So when we sleep, let me see. Have you ever had this happen to you? Right? So you've been studying something. I did this all the time. You've been studying something or you've been trying to figure something out and you can't get it. And you say, oh, I'm so tired. I'm going to go to sleep. And you fall off to sleep. And either a couple of hours later in the middle of the night, you pop up. You're like, I got it. Right? Or the next morning you wake up and you're like, okay, why didn't I think of that last night? You know why? Because two things. One, when we are tired, right, we're almost resistant to more things coming into our brain. But when we rest, the body takes all those things that are kind of moving around there and it begins to categorize them, right? And it begins to move them from quote unquote temporary memory into longer term memory. And there are some, for those of you who are in the sleep industry, don't get mad at me, right? So that's still one of the theories. There have been some people who've questioned that part of it, but our brains begin to kind of organize. So while we're sleeping, right, our subconscious is taking all the stuff that we've been kind of processing up there and say, okay, now he's quiet, he's sleeping now. Let's let him sleep and now let's do our thing. So the brain begins working and begins moving and begins doing all those different things. This is so beautiful. So the question is, what do we do if we're having poor sleep, if we're having bad sleep? And I want to have you remember three things: ready, set, and go. Ready, set, and go. But before I do that, I'm gonna read this because I want to ask you this question, right? So I'm coming back to the question that I asked you at the beginning, right? So if you could take something, or you could take a pill, if you could take a supplement, if you could take whatever it is, right, that can, and I wrote it all down so I could read it all out to you. That can improve memory, right? Number one, it can make you more focused. It can give you a better outlook. It can decrease your ability of getting obesity, diabetes, hypertension, right? It could make you less anxious. It can decrease your depression. It can help you improve your life. Would you do it? Would you take it? How much would you pay? So I want to answer that question. Would you take it? How much would you pay? Right? Put it down there. Put it down there. All right. We're going to come back to that question here in another day. All right. We're going to come back to that question. So would you take it? If something could do all of those things, right? Would you take it? And how much would you pay? How much would you pay for it? All right. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Let's see who's here. So we got some comments. I think I saw Kenyatta put something in there. She said, I do not, let me put it up. See, I do not wake up in the middle of the night wanting broccoli. That's right, Kenyatta. You and me both. You and me both. You know, one of the times when I had lots of issues with sleep was when I was in residency. Okay. When I was in residency, and even here when we initially started our practice, work on call at the hospital, taking calls. And so I would get up because the hospital had called and, I was sleeping, there's a patient. And so I gave orders and then I'm up, right? And if I'm up, my brain says to me, dude, let's go get something from the kitchen, right? So, yeah. So not that I was hungry, but I was up. I couldn't go back to sleep, right? Couldn't go back to sleep. And so there are all these things that can begin happening if we are not careful. All right. So ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go is what I want you to remember. So ready, set, and go. So ready means that you've got to think about sleep before you're ready to sleep. Because we just said a little while ago that it's not that you just lay down and you go to sleep. There are all these parts of the brain that are working together to help you to sleep. And so sitting at the end of bed, doing a bunch of stuff, running, and then all of a sudden saying, okay, I'm going to go to sleep. Guess what? That doesn't always work. Right? So you got to think about sleeping before you're ready to sleep. So not tonight, but, in the process, go ahead and plan. Okay, tomorrow, how am I going to go to sleep? Right? Plan it. Make sure that you have a room that is conducive for sleep. Okay? Now, if you have a bed that you don't like, that's hard, that's whatever, that's uncomfortable, guess what? You're not going to get good sleep. So you got to plan, okay, I got to get a good bed that I could sleep in. Make sure the room is dark. It's going to be dark when you go to sleep. Okay? Take the TV out. That's right, I said it. Take the TV out of the bedroom. You don't need a TV in there, okay? Because all those things are distractions. I'm going to say phone, right? So there's a lot of controversy over phones. Now, remember I talked about light, right? So blue light is one of the ones that people are in sleep medicine they talk about a lot. And blue light is one of the things that comes from some phones, right? So there's some thought that blue light disturbs you. But I want to add a different spin on phones, right? So if your phone is there, what do most of us do? Most of us, we get in bed and we say, okay, I'm just going to check. See who texted me, who IM'd me, who DM'd me, who followed me, who liked me, right? And then I'm going to go to sleep. And then you see, well, nobody liked me, but look, Charlene just put something on there. Oh, what's she talking about? Oh, yeah, right? And next thing we look up and guess what? It's 30 minutes later. Okay? And then the other place that the phone becomes an issue is in the morning. So ring, 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 the alarm goes off, you get up, you grab your phone, you swipe. Oh, I guess Charlotte, she didn't see my message last night. What? She didn't add. Oh, look at look, somebody else did comment about that. Yeah, and right. So all of a sudden we're pulled in. Okay. And so our brain now says, okay, and a lot of that sometimes sometimes it causes stress. Let me say that. Okay. Because there's all this stuff. You check your email. So prepare the night before, prepare prior to, that's the ready, right? Get ready for what's going to happen. Set. What does set mean? Set means that you should do things, or you should not do things that are going to prevent you. So don't watch TV right before. Don't drink caffeine right before. Don't drink alcohol right before. Although some people say that alcohol relaxes them, right? So alcohol is a downer, right? So it's a sedative, right? So a sedative, and it may sedate you, but it doesn't help you get good, restful, restorative sleep. And in fact, because of the sedation, if we do that too often, then our sleep architecture is broken. Okay. So I know a lot of people, take a drink, get them sleep, oh, that settles me and I go to sleep, but that's not the best thing for sleep. Okay. Don't sit at the side of your bed and do your phone. Do your phone somewhere else. Okay. And go. So ready, set, and go. Go to bed. Plan to go to bed at the same time. Get up at the same time, even on weekends. I know sometimes it's tempting on weekends to do that, right? Go to bed at the same time. Wake up at the same time. Have a pre-bed routine. Okay. Don't just be doing everything, rushing around the house. And I'm guilty of that sometimes, because sometimes I'm in this room and I'm doing things and my alarm goes up that said, hey, I got to go to sleep. And I say, okay, I'm supposed to go to sleep at 11:30 and 11:29. I'm like, okay, let me get up and we go now, right? Because I got to get in bed before the alarm so I could put it on my journal that I went to bed. Anyway, you guys don't do that, right? Okay, so I get up, right, turn off the lights, and I hop into bed, and then I'm there, and I expect myself to go to sleep. No, you can't do that. Have a routine that you do, whatever it's going to be, right? Take a shower, get a notebook, write down, like I have in my journal, a journal that my wife created that I use every night, the morning, and we talked about morning routines. If you've not done so, go ahead and watch that video. We talked about morning routines, right? So something that you do in the morning that kind of gets the day going. And then I have one in the evening that I do before I go to bed. So it recorded, what am I grateful for? What are my wins today? What am I planning to do tomorrow? Right? So all those things are great. Okay. So ready, set, go. If you are in bed, I want you to hear this one, right? So everything else is done. The lights are off. No TVs are on. No, I didn't drink any caffeine. I didn't drink any alcohol. All those things are done. And I get in bed and I'm laying there. Right? If you're in bed for more than 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, and you can't sleep, you should get out of bed, move from the bed, go do something else. Go read a book, sit in a chair, right? Drink some tea, right? And then when you get sleepy, get back in bed. Because the bed, you've got to train your body. You got to train your mind that the bed is for two things, right? One for sleep and two for intimacy. Those two things. Right? You shouldn't be sitting in the bed reading a book. Shouldn't be sitting in bed watching TV. Shouldn't be, right? None of that stuff, right? Because then you train your body to do things other than that. Okay? So wonderful, wonderful. All right, let's see what we got out there. So Maria says, yes, I will take the pill, doctor. I will pay by serving you half of my life just to get the pill. Ha ha ha. Please send it as soon as That's right. I love that, Maria. I love it. Shauna's here. Hey, Shauna, how are you doing? Good to see you. She says, great talk, Dr. Wood. I struggle so much with sleep. Yes, Shauna. I mean, a lot of people are out there that struggle with sleep. Maria saying, hey, Shauna. And then Ashley says, so since I want to go to bed soon, I should stop eating this ice cream. So Ashley, special circumstances, you get a special dispensation. We understand. we understand. But yes, we should not be eating all those things, right? because it really does impact our sleep. All right, so let's take another break here, guys, because I've got some exciting news. Now, I told you guys, and let me make sure I've got it on my little device here. I told you guys that if you've been watching, that several months ago, there's got some exciting things coming. And one of the exciting things was that we had Dr. Wood, Dr. Charmaine Wood on the show. And she's going to be a regular on the show. So I'm excited about that. Yay, let's get some music, right? She's a regular on the show. And so she has been helping us talk about lots of different things. And we've got a great schedule that we are putting together so that we can continue to do that. The other thing that is exciting to me, right, and I want to share with you guys tonight, for the first time ever, you are the first people that are going to hear this. So I got to get me some, right, and get some music, is that we are launching our coaching as well, right? So Dr. Dwayne Wood Coaching. And that is our website, Dwayne Wood MD, DwayneWoodMD.com. You can go there, you can click on the buttons. And right now there are two options for coaching. There is diabetes coaching and there is life coaching. So a lot of times people they're stuck. They feel like they can't get a handle on their diabetes, right? So we want to offer coaching beyond your disease, right? We want to offer coaching beyond your disease as we manage your blood sugars, as we help you find a process that's going to work for you, right? We want to be a part of your journey. We want to be able to help you along the way. Because remember, what do? Right? We educate, we empower, and we encourage you to take charge of your health and live a fulfilling life. And then with the life coaching, right? So there are a lot of times that it is not a blood sugar problem. You may feel stuck. You may feel that you don't have a plan for your life in general. And when we don't have a plan for life in general, then so many different things kind of go by the wayside. So many different things can be affected. Our sleep can be affected, right? So I want to be a part of your journey, whether we're coaching in terms of managing blood sugars, whether we're doing some life coaching. Go ahead, go to DwayneWoodMD.com, and you'll see the links there. It says sign up for a consult, right? Sign up for a consult, and we would love to engage with you. We would love to be a part of that. So I'm gonna give some more music. Awesome. All right. So that's one of our news. That's part of our news. So we're glad that we were able to share that with you here tonight on this show. Let's get our thought for today. All right. So I was listening to YouTube, and I saw this guy. He was talking, and I also heard him on Facebook. And he said something very incredible. It was simple, but it made sense. And it is this: every morning when we wake up, we get two things. We get a chance, and we get a choice. That's it. We get a chance for this day to be better than yesterday. And we get a choice in how we go about doing that. We get a chance to wake up with fervor and to wake up with anticipation. And we get a choice to create today the way we want it to go. I told you that I have this journal that my wife created, and there are two questions that I love in the journal. The first question is, what am I going to create today? And what am I looking forward to? And at night, it is, what was my biggest success? And that begins in the morning because you get a chance and you get a choice. Sometimes we use that chance to remember yesterday. Okay. Oh, and yesterday was such a bad day. Yesterday I didn't do this. Yesterday I was supposed to do that. Yesterday I got into this argument. Yesterday, right? That was yesterday. Your chance today is to make today a grand masterpiece. We get a choice. We get a choice to hit the snooze button and to think about, oh, I don't want to get up. I got to get up. And here's an interesting point here, right, that I heard. And this comes from Steve Harvey. I was listening to him. And he said, you could think that I have to get up. I have to go to work. I have to go pick up this. I have to take this person there. I have to pay rent. I have to get dressed. I have to, right? He said, change one word and it changes your outlook. And change have to I get to. I get to wake up today. I get to go to work today. I get to go pick up my son today. I get to, right? Because there's the anticipation, there's the power that you have. You get a chance and you get a choice. What are you going to do with your chance and your choice tomorrow? That's our thought today for today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So what I want to do quickly is I want to catch some questions. Let's see. We got some that, let's see. Hey, Dr. Wood. Hey, Maria. Let's see. That was Shanna. Oh, Maria says, Ashley McHenry, you're our special case. I can imagine you eating that ice cream and now craving it for so she's craving it. So. And then Ashley, hey, Shanna, the one in my belly keeps me up more than my 17-month-old. LOL. Yes, Maria, cookies and cream. Oh, I'm not even going to tell you guys. I'm not even going to tell you what my favorite. If you're out there, if you know me, you know what my favorite is. But I'm not even going to think about it. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. See, Ashley, this is what you've done, right? So you just put that in my head. But that's okay. That's okay. All right. Let's see if we got some questions that we can answer. Okay. So I'm physically tired, but can't fall asleep. What's wrong? Good question. So there are lots of different things that can occur. And first of all, let me preface by saying, if you are trying all the things that we've mentioned, right? Ready, set, go, and you've done that. If you're still having problems, there could be medical reasons why, right? Because there are lots of sleep disorders, and we didn't go into any of that tonight. Sleep apnea, there could be restless legs, there can be, just in lots of different reasons. So if you are in that case, if you're in that situation, make sure that you check with your healthcare provider. Okay, and a lot of us have had the situation where we are tired. We feel like we're tired, but we get in bed and we can't sleep. So lots of things can cause that. One would be anxiety, depression, right? So just anticipation of something, right? Because, for instance, if you have a job interview tomorrow and you go to sleep tonight, guess what? You're not going to get restful sleep, and you may not even be able to fall asleep initially, right? So all those things can happen. It doesn't mean there's something wrong, but there's some other things we need to look at. So go through, make sure that you are doing the things that we mentioned in our Ready, Set, Go. And then if you're not having success, go ahead and check with your healthcare provider. Let's see. So that's the one we just saw. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Here, how about this one? Oops. I think they're all the same questions. How about that? Okay. Why is sleeping in the dark important to your sleep? Okay. That's a good question. And if you remember that we said that our bodies have this rhythm, circadian rhythm, and it is affected by light. So being in a darker place helps your body say, okay, it's time for sleep. And once again, if the lights are bright, then your body's going to say, hey, we probably need to hang out, stay up a little bit. Okay. Let's see. Can I eat anything to help me fall asleep? And the answer is no. Now, there are some things that people eat that helps, they think, calm them down, right? Like everybody talks about chocolate. Do you know why chocolate works? Right? Because chocolate helps to release in our bodies some of those quote unquote endorphin type things, and it really eases our cortisol level. That's why chocolate works. Okay. Yeah, you didn't know that, did you? Okay. Let's see. What self-care practices might help with sleep? Self-care practices: get a routine, right? Take a hot shower. So when I lay down, for example, if you want, you can decide that this is going to be a routine. I'm going to take my shower. I'm going to dim the lights. I'm going to do my journaling, and then I'm going to turn the lights off, and I'm going to lay down in bed. So your body every night is expecting shower, dim the lights, journaling, lay down and sleep. Hot shower, journaling, or dim the lights, journaling, sleep. And right, so we go through that every night, and so your body becomes used to it. So that's a good routine that you can do. But come up with your own routine. When should people get professional help for sleep problems? As I said, if you are not able to sleep after you've established good sleep hygiene, then you want to make sure that you check with your medical provider, because there could be some medical issues why you're having sleep issues or sleep problems. Let's see. How do disturbed dreams play into sleep? Now, this is an interesting one, right? Because disturbed dreams can come from sleep problems, and sleep problems can cause disturbed dreams. Sorry. Disturbed dreams can come from sleep problems, and sleep problems can come from disturbed dreams, right? For example, there has not been any, I'm thinking now, any kind of emotional, psychological illness or disorder that have been found that I know of that doesn't impact sleep. Right? So anytime we have those, then sleep is impacted. Right. All right. Let's see. What else do we have? Let's try this one. Are there physical or mental health conditions that predispose to developing a sleep disorder in times of stress? Well, one of the big things that we want to make sure is that we're able to manage stress, right? Because if we're having poor stress management techniques, then that will predispose us to have poor sleep, right? Because if we're not doing that, if we're not managing the stress, that stress will impact our sleep. And then the sleep now impacts all the other things that we talked about. Okay, so yes. Can temporary sleep problems develop into chronic ones? Can temporary sleep problems develop into chronic ones? And the answer is yes, right? Because if we're not dealing with, if we're not managing, if we're not learning how to do that, then it just becomes a chronic thing, and our bodies get used to wherever we are. And so we end up in that process, and it becomes a chronic issue that we've got to kind of deal with. And then our sleep problems more during COVID-19. Our sleep problems more during COVID-19. Well, we're still collecting data, and lots of people are crunching data. And anytime there is increased stress, anytime there's increased cortisol, then we find that people have more sleep problems. And I would venture to guess, I don't know, I can't tell you, the numbers. I would venture to guess that the answer to that question would be yes, that we do have problems with sleep. Yeah. So, well, good, guys. Well, I am so excited that you guys are here. Oh, so Ashley, Cherry Garcia. Oh, Ashley, you had to say it. Oh, okay. So we're gonna no more Cherry Garcia. You can't say it on the show. All right. So he said, "Oh my goodness, Ashley, congratulations from Shauna." That's right, Shauna. All right, we're gonna have 3 special. Oh, I almost said. We're gonna have, anyway, no. Okay. Hey, Ashley. Okay. All right. So guys, once again, we are glad that you're here. If you've not already done so, if you've not already shared this, please share it with your family and with your friends. Share with them our content live every week, our Twitter every day, and our TikTok. And then please share with family and friends our new coaching opportunity, both for coaching for diabetes and for life coaching. I would love to be involved and to help educate, empower, and to help people and encourage them to take charge of their health, right? So that's what we do here. That's what we do. So we got a question. Let's see if we can answer this last question. So Marlene says, I have broken sleep. What's going on? What's going on? So Marlene, broken sleep can come from so many different things. First of all, make sure that we're using good sleep architect or sleep hygiene, right? And so sleep hygiene, the ready, set, go that I described, right? All of those things would fall under sleep hygiene. Okay. So make sure if you're having broken sleep, make sure that you have good sleep hygiene. Make sure that you're using the ready, set, go. Again, get ready. Think about sleep before. Set up, right? Make sure that everything that is in your space for sleep is with the intention of getting to sleep, and then go to sleep, right? Don't use the bed for anything other than for sleeping and for intimacy. If you're still having issues, then we've got to start looking, okay, are there stresses that are going on? Is there depression? Is there some food, spicy food, caffeine, alcohol, big food, big meals, or even exercising right before, right? That can cause broken sleep. And if all of those are not, if you don't find a problem there, then we talk to our healthcare provider and say, hey, what do we need to do? I would recommend, really, if you're having a sleep problem, begin working on sleep hygiene, but at the same time, also talk to your healthcare provider so that you can be hitting that in both, in multiple places. Okay. All right. Well, good. Well, guys, always thank you for being here. We love when you come. We love chatting with you. We love you being here. This is Dr. Dwayne Wood, and I help to educate, empower, and encourage you to take charge of your health, avoid complications, and live a healthy, fulfilling life. Thanks for being here. Shout out again to Alabama A&M here in Huntsville. Have a great evening and a great rest of the week. We will see you at the next video. Let's get some music and let's get on out of here.